guys, so today we have a beauty video. Subscribe, hit the bell icon for engagement, and let's just get into it. So the first one we have is Jaclyn Hill. She recently dragged Morphe, which is a new for Jaclyn Hill, because if you know her, Jaclyn Hill and Morphe was like this. When her brand came out, Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics, she claimed it was this like family, small business with her mum, and you know, it's self-funded and it's just a small business. And then when the company went bankrupt, there were some documents released where it showed that Morphe actually owned Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics and funded it completely, because it was owned by Forma. So Forma is kind of like the parent company. They fund Morphe, they fund Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics, but she claimed it was like started by her essentially. And she was recently doing just some TikToks about makeup.
I'm gonna talk about my current makeup favorites. It's who I am to my core. I'm always going to be a beauty favorites, a Sephora haul, a monthly favorites type girl, okay? You cannot take that out of me. It's in my DNA.
In the comments, someone asked her about Morphe, and she basically said that it's like she would review more Morphe if the products were actually good, which is slight shade at Meredith Duxbury, who has actually been like releasing a bunch of, I say a bunch, it just constantly feels like she's releasing something with Morphe, and she just has a launch now with Morphe, so it's really interesting. And someone did say, you know, isn't like Linda your friend? Isn't she gonna be like offended by this? Because I know Linda is was the owner of Morphe, and she said Linda's fine. So like Linda will be fine. But it's just funny to see this like complete denouncing of a brand that she used to literally swear, breathe, and live by. And it is just interesting because they have moved away from doing YouTuber marketing. So they don't work with Manny MUA, Jaclyn Hill, Laura Lee, Jeffree Star, James Charles. Like everyone used to have a code with Morphe. It was, you know, code painted, code James, code snatched, snapped, and sister, and all the different codes that we would have. And now they pretty much only work with like Meredith. They had like a Madison Beer collab, I think. And then they had like a what's her name? There was like another, like a Dance Moms girl that had a collab with them. It's just interesting that they've moved away, and now Jaclyn Hill is like, oh well, if they only release good products, I would review them. It's like definitely got nothing to do with the fact that they just don't work with her anymore, and she doesn't make hundreds of thousands to millions from her code. My contact is so dry.
And it was lightly mentioned that their first form of marketing would no longer be influencers, aka Morphe's done with influencers. Like they're going to be doing this different this time.
Yeah, it's about product first, influencers later.
Yeah. And then
No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to giggle. I don't mean to giggle.
We laugh because literally sometimes I'm like, Morphe, what's going on? Because they say that and then they do the exact opposite of what they say.
And they collab with Meredith.
Listen, it's no secret that like Morphe is famous and successful because of the influencers they chose to work with. They went for the biggest of the big influencers, and they connected themselves to it, as did the influencers. And I say this being one of those influencers,
Same.
Manny too.
Same. And we made honestly, we made hella coin.
We made hella coin. They made hella coin.
They made coin. We made coin. I loved Linda and Chris. Like, absolutely. And I'm very curious. Like, I'm so curious to see kind of what happens and what transpires, because we used to have such an amazing relationship with them that it's just so wild, how time just changes things.
I know. Well, anyone I had a relationship with at Morphe is no longer there. So
true, same.
You know what I mean? So it's I don't even know that company anymore.
I don't know. Even the one connect I had is no longer at that brand and went to a different brand.
Yeah.
I don't know the company anymore. I don't really know any. Maybe that's why I'm what is the brand even about?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Who's the face of Morphe. I have no idea. So I think that makes a big difference.
But that is some Jaclyn Hill drama, because this comes up every now and then still. Now, Mikayla Nogueira, who has been adding in ad disclosures to some of her TikToks. And I actually need to correct myself. In the Sally Beauty one, she doesn't disclose the brand deal, like the ad read, until right at the end.
So far, beautiful. The hair is absolutely heron. This looks beautiful.
Thank you so much to Sally Beauty for partnering with me on this video.
If I can get this result with these two tools, these are a win.
Which is once again, that feels a little bit iffy, because who watches a TikTok all the way to the end? Not me. But she has the Sally partner, she has ad and all that funny hashtag business. And then right at the end, you can tell it's been added in post edit. That wasn't filmed with the rest because the audio sounds different. She says, this video is sponsored by Sally Beauty. And it's probably because she sent the initial thing to them and they said, hey, the FTC is kind of, you know, cracking down on things. Can you just add in a disclosure? And then she literally went in on her phone and went, this video is sponsored by Sally Beauty, and then added it in right at the end in the last 2 seconds. So she got me there. But she's adding in disclosures to some of her videos. I've been talking to my friends about this. She did one for Garnier, which also added in like a little sponsorship thing.
I'll take hair filler any day. Shout out to Garnier Fructis for partnering with me on this video. Garnier is a slay.
You can tell it's been added in post-production. So she films the TikToks as they are, like without disclosing the brand deal. She sends it off to a bunch of brands for approval, right? Because she does a bunch of ads, and then some of them will just get back to her and say, yep, that's perfect without the ad disclosure, post it, because they don't care about the FTC guidelines. And then some brands these days are reaching out back to her, is what I think is happening, and saying, hey, you're gonna need to disclose this as a brand deal. And she'll just sit there with her phone and go, this video is sponsored by blah, 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 you know, and then she just adds it in later on. So you can kind of tell which brands are starting to say, hey, you're gonna need to disclose that, and which brands are still allowing her to get away with that and allowing them to be kind of dragged into this whole mess. Okay, so that's the Mikayla Nogueira stuff. Then we have Jeffree Star, who has been obviously reviewing some makeup on his TikTok. It's not as often as he used to do on YouTube. It's not his like main bread and butter. His thing is like doing weird live streams and TikTok battles on live. Reviews some makeup, and he says, you know, this is Jeffree Star approved. And I don't know if he's just lost his touch, but he just seems to not be very good at makeup anymore and reviewing makeup products. I don't know if he's just like out of the loop. Maybe that's just like he feels like he has to do that because of the Lashgate situation. He feels like he has to come back in and like be the honest one and like not lie, as if, I don't know, he's just not. You guys know how I feel about Jeffree Star. But it's like, for example, with the Glamzilla lipstick thing, she obviously would apply lipstick, spray the one size setting spray over it and claim that it was completely transfer proof. Then some people disproved it. Then he tried the hack to like say that Glamzilla was right, but he used a transfer proof liquid lipstick and then sprayed it and it was transfer proof, but it's like the original lipstick is transfer proof. So it's like stuff like that where I'm like, he's really lost his touch in the beauty community, and I just don't know why he still tries it. But I guess he feels like he has to. That's his like main bread and butter because that's what he's known for. And he came back during Lashgate to be like, I'm the only one that will be honest enough to review this mascara and don't listen to Mikayla Nogueira. But it's like, I don't think I would listen to Jeffree Star either. And this Jeffree Star approved thing just means nothing to me at this point. It's like, what is going on? And so he recently reviewed some Kaleidos eyeliners, and he's clearly never heard of this brand, which, once again, if he was involved in the beauty community and he knew anything, he would have heard of Kaleidos. They're not like a, they are an indie brand, and they used to be much smaller, but they are quite well known now. Their eyeshadow palettes are amazing. Their lip products are great. Like, I've used Kaleidos in the past. I've been on PR lists with them in the past, and I've gotten the eyeliners like a year ago. So this is like an old launch that's just been blown up on TikTok, and he reviews it. And at first he's shouting and being like, is this the man? Like, he's doing the TikTok thing, okay?
Do those not look next level? Hi, how are ya? I know a lot of you have seen that video in the intro on their FYP, baby. These eyeliners are waterproof, they're next level. The pigments look very holographic and just wow. I did buy the bundle for $76. You're getting the eyeliners for about $15 a piece. Wow.
He keeps on emphasizing that it's a Chinese brand.
So yes, the Kaleidos eyeliners, all the way from China, they're on the chopping block today. Now, I don't know how to say Kaleidos. Now, this is a brand all the way from China. Okay, so it says the brand is from Korea, but all the makeup is made in China.
Like, almost derogatory. And I was like, I mean, it's not, it's really good quality product, and there are a lot of Chinese makeup brands that are really good. I think the issue is when you have, for example, an American brand and they will have their stuff produced in China, they typically will use much cheaper factories than, for example, a Chinese makeup brand, because they'll typically just make really good products for their Chinese population, if that makes sense. Whereas if a brand from the US is choosing a Chinese lab, it tends to be to cut costs. But then you can't say that all Chinese brands are bad, because Chinese people also want high quality products produced in China. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like this whole like made in China thing is like derogatory, but some products made in China are not going to be low quality. We just associate that because American brands or Western brands that produce things in China typically do so to cut costs. They'll use the lowest tier of factories. So I think he's thought that this was like a shady thing, and he thought he was like, breaking news, this is made in China. It's like, we all knew. So I don't know why you're doing this. And so he essentially used this eyeliner and said that it wasn't good and that like it didn't come out the way it swatched on his hand.
I love this component. Look, you guys, it's see-through, transparent, and when you pull it off, oh my God, look at that color. Oh my God, look at this shade. They are all really just... Let's swatch these on my hand immediately and get them on the eyes. I just want to test this on my hand and see what happens. Ready? Oh! I'm in mid-swatch right now and oh my God! These are so pretty. What the They keep getting better. Look at this one. This is tourmaline. Okay, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but what is happening? These might be the prettiest liners I've ever swatched. Okay, we're zoomed in, and now let's try shade Tourmaline on the eye. Zoomed in, let's just apply these on the eye if I was gonna apply liner or something like that. What is it going to look like? And it's not looking like my hand. Obviously my hand has nothing on it, but my lid has to have makeup on it. Like we put on foundation, I have primer on. Like you can't just wear this with no makeup and expect it to look great. What in the disaster is happening? We're gonna go with the green one, 7Cs. A lot of people said it may not be good over product. Well, baby, I just have foundation on, so that's gonna be a problem for me. Not sure if this is waterline safe, but you can obviously see it, right? But then it just still doesn't look like that. Crazy purple, let's try her. If this purple doesn't work, I am going to actually cry. I'm dragging this across my eye, it kind of hurts. Like it's just pulling it. Honestly, this shows up a little bit better than this side, but overall, it's not giving me the wow effect I expected. I like to use a product as it's advertised. A lot of people, because I'm live reviewing this, say, oh, well, your tattoos are really dark, so it's gonna pop. Baby, the swatches that reeled me in had no tattoos on them. This looks amazing. When it hits the eye, it loses its wow factor. Like, yeah, that's purple, but baby, that does not look like that. Maybe wear it on bare skin, but I'm someone that always has a full coverage mask on, and it's giving false advertisement. I really wanted to like these, but it was very, very underwhelming. Goodbye.
And then the brand posted a TikTok with the eyeliners to show that they actually do work well, which people are saying, oh, this is damage control because Jeffree Star said it's not good. I don't think it's good. It's like this sheep mentality. I hate Jeffree Star fans. Truly, like if Jeffree Star fans have no haters, I am dead. I hate Jeffree Star and I hate his fans. That's the tea and the shade of it all, because they're all sheep. They're all sheep, but they think they're so like edgy and cool and like they're going against the grain. But if Jeffree Star says jump, they'll be like, how high? You know, and I just don't respect anyone who does that. I think if you watch someone's content, you should be able to acknowledge that they are fallible and that they make mistakes and that they are not going to be flawless people. And if you follow someone and you constantly think they are perfect, amazing, fantastic, then you're a sheep. Which is why sometimes someone will, ow, my back really hurts. Which is why sometimes someone will leave a comment, like, for example, 2 videos ago, no, was it last video? 2 videos ago. I basically just said like, oh, I made a mistake and I'm correcting it now. That was it, right? And some people said, oh yeah, we completely understand. And I was like, perfect. Obviously I don't want to get cancelled. So I was like, perfect. I'm glad everyone's happy. I'm glad everyone's okay. But then there was some comments, and I completely still appreciate the sentiment, but there was some comments saying like, oh, you can never do anything wrong in my eyes. And I just want to say that's not true. Like I am going to do things that are going to piss you off, and there is something I'm gonna do wrong. And I think if you just come at me with this blanket statement of like, oh, there's nothing you could ever say or do that would be wrong in my eyes, then we're in for a disappointment, because we're all just flawed people, right? So like I try not to like those comments as much. They might seem a little bit shady if I like haven't hearted someone's comment, even though they're being super nice, because I just don't want to put out, I don't want to like put my stamp of approval on a comment that says that I am like this flawless person that can do no wrong, because I don't want that to be the image that I present of myself. I feel like I used to have this idea when I was like 18 and 19 with like a god complex, where I was like, there's nothing I can do that will ever be wrong. I say everything right. And then you realize how quickly that falls apart, because we're all flawed people. So I just don't want to put my stamp of approval on a comment that says you could never do anything wrong in my eyes, because I just don't agree with that myself. Like, I think there are even some things where like maybe I said something a month ago and I'm like, ugh, I don't know if that's what I think right now, because I think we just constantly change. So I think, yeah, so that's why I think I have such an issue with Jeffree Star fans the most, because I think they are like the pinnacle of you could never do anything wrong in my eyes, and I just disagrey. And he's done a lot of wrong as well, so you picked the wrong person for that kind of sentiment, you know? So then another makeup TikToker, Louis Delmar 9, also showed how to use these properly, and they look stunning on his eyes.
I ran as fast as I could. I saw everybody coming for me after defending Kaleido's eyeliners, so I'm gonna prove it here for you, babes. We're gonna do no cuts, no edits. We're gonna go in with the 3 shades that I have here. We have a side with shadow and foundation as a base, then we have nothing on here. So let's start with my favorite here. This is Limelight. This is the greeny version of it. So we're gonna go in here. I wanna make sure you guys can see it here. I'm gonna grab my mirror here. We're gonna go in here. Do you see how pretty that is? And the shadow right now that we're gonna do, like the liner, it's not gonna be perfect. I'm just doing this for visibility purposes, so that way you guys can see. So the shape is literally gonna be just random. I don't care. I just wanna make sure that you guys are aware that we don't lie here. And do you see? Okay. There's that one. We're gonna go on the other side. Let's do different colors here. So we're gonna go in with, let's see what we have, an icy blast color here. This is what the color Sea Sparkle, baby. We're gonna go in here. Let's do the same method that we did. So we're gonna go in here, boom, boom, and motherfucking boom. We're gonna create, like I said, a random shape as well. Look, you can see that I literally just go on top. I'm trying to go very lightly because my eyes are oily and they will tug. So here it is. Do you see? Baby. And then we're gonna do the purple. This is the purple. We're gonna put this on our waterline, just so that way you guys can see how bomb these liners really are, because the girls are not. They're just not getting it. Do you see that? Girl, bye.
I also have the eyeliners, and they come out on the eyes just like in the swatches, so I don't actually know what Jeffree Star was doing wrong. Yeah, so he just dragged an indie brand for no reason. That was cool. Subscribe with the bell icon for engagement. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.